Minia Audu Mahama Elmenchea and a pay Minino AD and Kuma Audu. Morning.
Morning.
Now, I know what to say.
And that was I late upon.
Traffic, yeah. Traffic.
I should phone it here for Monfanche.
And okay, I understand. Me was so Judy. So Judy, one of our sister networks, analysis.
Oh,
deep analysis.
Oh, David.
And I was Minion.
Oh, Charlie.
Minion on a paragraph.
Oh, okay.
Analysis and Minion.
Oh,
analysis is more
for country
and God.
And God, for God and country.
Yes. Minia Kwaba. Yo, ready. Yabin Isha. And I don't know if there's an issue you want to talk about.
Rose, no, I'm okay.
Rose,
it's a serious matter. In fact, I say I'm pay one day and make a Rose. Look, just about a week ago,
okay,
before motorway,
okay,
Charlie, the road is actually terrible. Look, my father about a year ago, and I say me father, but something happened and I just have to pass there. I have no choice. And I'm going to be far. I think, Charlie, something has to be done about that road.
Yeah.
And now, Ghana, I don't know who are supervising road constructions in this country. Ministry of Roads and Highways, urban roads, because we are not even talking about feeder roads. Because roads are urban roads, not I mean the city.
Yeah.
As for the peripherals, it may be atomic runabout on Ofri Hawk Taifa a double lane.
Yeah.
In fact, it is a big road. Now every 10 bia obey was a road, you know. Galleys never ho. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 tents. It was a road.
Yeah.
Me see, ninja na galleys, porthole, any porthole so galleys in ewo ho. And same way, me ntiase ekra say mpanyinfo fa ho district, you know, municipal assembly for urban roads. And me nim say omo fa ho road enye. Anytime you go there, you have to slow down. Untimi caught without slowing down on that road. Meanwhile, it's a look a road to ho daho. But because of those areas, you know, you slow down. Yes, there was stop and so it is not fair. I don't know what is happening. When they made the for Minister of Roads and Highways, urban roads, and Omon for Ninkosa Road,
interesting.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
it's terrible. And now you also talked about something I've been talking about all the time about street lighting in Accra.
Yeah.
Look, it's so you always death trap. Who driving Accra is terrible. Mr. just say about 4 days ago from you're saying trade fair, Chado Holomo, was all for Chiro. As a call a Ubeko Pie or hotel with Labadi Beach Hotel.
Okay.
Stretch. Ufasa Kwano Beach up to a Tamakloe Accra post office, Kofa. A mortuary road, one was our road, you know. Me see darkness, and serious. And many places in Accra. Meanwhile, we are supposed to be paying street. Udio Bila, Uko lighter, street light in the money now. I don't know what is happening. This country sometimes. Meanwhile, people are in charge. People are paid to do this work. What do they do? What are they doing? Charlie. Me street lighting say my can't even on this network. I don't know the number of times men can. I'm giving up.
Now
street lighting, is there no somebody responsible for this?
Now ebia sa charges levies here okaso okotua obela ewosu. Ebia funda ekomu no. It doesn't really necessarily come back to the purchasing of the street lights. And also
yes, but look, I think the assembly should take care of street lighting. No matter what, their mega resources or money. Look, it's very important though. In terms of security, who driving in the night, security. Do you know how you can be attacked in darkness by armed robbers? when you are driving. Look, so security is not be taken lightly at all. I would wish there is how do you call it? See something, say something campaign. I think a portion of it should be given to so that we brighten the cities.
But how can you see something in the darkness?
Exactly. And no, I mean, one idea, no. How can you see something in darkness? It must be light. You have to put, it must brighten. Let's use part of the campaign, money idea, no, to brighten the cities so that you'll be able to see and say it. It's very important. Serious. Look, sometimes if you drive outside Accra, or some of the towns in the area, Charlie, you see street lights and I will say, you want to leave Accra, and I so Juma Enti, where then?
Well, what about see something, say something?
Yes.
So far, Ufili Bibi say something, say something, and be also.
Oh, campaign, a coso, and when you say, Omoye a adverse on it, and it's on radio, ni TV, ni na a coso. I hope say. It will be localized. You bet you my on local dialects more now. It goes into all the communities. Say, look, security is very important. You cannot want to develop a country without peace and security.
Yeah.
Until so far, National Security Ministry, National Ministry of National Security. I think so far so good, but Omoma enco the local communities na enco in campaigning in different dialects so that people understand. Una amna say be a shop, and a big place, and also be be jana bag na so call freno. Na say masa menja be fa bag ko menja wa ha. Ana nipa no jai na say da ho a secret for wo ho na owners of the shop na wa let him say look obi di bag bia jai wo ha mo befa na enfan free ha it could be bomb it could
that's see something say something.
Yeah,
really educates the masses about what really to see, what really to look out for.
Yes,
in terms of security awareness.
Yes, you see this is a broad message Odiama. But you have to break it down to say what do you look up to
exactly.
See. And no, it's part of the it's part of the see something say something campaign because you have to look for certain things.
Yeah.
Pointers say we who say say alert. That's why they've given numbers. Any say ubetima inform with DC police commander and maybe an elder, church elder, mosque led. So that is it. I think they see something, say something, is a broad idea to bag. They must be pointers. Those are the things you report on. And that's what I'm saying. It should be sent down to the communities. Whilst we are doing it in the cities, communities, because sometimes the extremists may start from that level up to the national level. You may be concentrating on but maybe a year be war. May crazy. People are gathered. Some extremists may do something within the gathering. So all these things, we need to look at them. But as you said, we need to break down issues so that people understand. Say,
what are looking out for?
This is what we are looking down. Who BBC report to? That one is there. But I think see something, say something is a broad topic, agenda.
Final bit, the person will be Sana, a movie on to the coverage of the NPP regional elections. You know, any executives are one more a year or more. The surprises any has to do with the issue of paranoia.
Yeah.
As to say whether we may not have people becoming so paranoid. Say, who stranger be on the area? Yeah, not lynching any home sense some echo bemoana.
Yes, we have to be very careful in that because we are moving pain. Okay, some time ago, Odantekwa na ya chewo say obia ka say ne bemayira.
Bemayira.
Hey, Ghana. And my elechi ko for
yes,
this country until who say I don't know where it came from. Because all of a sudden you'll be making an event my year. No, I saw
yeah.
point to be na
ya bona.
So we should be very careful. You see, every community, especially local communities, who look, Sammy, me free me chrome, North Chum in Lambusie constituency. Me call Cecia or me who say Malandi.
Yeah.
Because look, obia ni mobia. Once they see somebody, a visitor or a stranger, they know say you're a. But when you see a stranger, your attitude should not be say we were nipa boni and you have to find out. Ebi obe alert you be say oh nipa wo nanti emu ahunu wahada no frehin where you do that background very fast to hu nipa kro say ni ye hu nipa obi wo ha nipa no ye hu no wahada say oh yeah why. Now you do that very fast, but you don't see a person who has just landed in your community or your town, then you begin to pounce on the person, say, they're not maybe he's even bringing goodies to you, or they are the bremo. Until we should be very careful whilst we are saying, look, we are saying, see something and say something. When you see something, be careful how you say it.
Yeah.
It's very important. When you see something, also be careful how you say it. It's very important. So when you now become education or National Security Ministry, any information ministry, any all those involved because it's very critical.
It's very critical.
So, because if you look at your neighbors, your neighbors are their coso. Your neighbors their coso. It's very critical. Say Burkina Faso, any Mali, any West African sub-region, and who number of terrorists. That's this year alone over 400.
Dave, Yabobo Boswa road sector motorway problems but we came to the starting battle and see something, say something. A comment.
Sorry, medical apawacho apa who producers in any active phone acho. Anope traffic no. I dear wo friends say I say
for motorway no
perform we kwan no e kwan den kamenim ni say wo ya wo jai baku bebi tu ona yafa wo ye baku na na ya say baku but as a kwan a friend say ye yo okrum ha nyina ye ni nyina bom nso enwie da it's no excuse power cho minia national security say something you know. I think say it is the core request by national security of all national security to the people, because there is no better security than the people themselves. We look around in our sector, outside of the world, it is even easier where because we depend on communities to survive. It is easier to maintain security that we all could, we know each other in the community, we relate with each other, so we can easily identify who is and who is not with us. But becoming, most of our places, our communities have been urbanized now. So that is why it is important to remind ourselves that we need to look around us. And where we suspect anything, we say this, say something, has been a campaign in the United States. I recall years back, a friend of mine who, was pushing for the police service to adapt this campaign and to keep our communities safe. He tried all he could. He couldn't go through because somebody must eat from it. But aside this, it's a worry for me. I mean, particularly this coming from national security. If people are going to yield to this, they must have confidence in the national security itself. The people who handle the national security itself must be people that we all trust. I kept saying that, look, the national security in a democratic establishment is accountable to the people. Now we have a situation where I can hardly say that our national security, some of the characters that are there, can be trusted. And we have had countless situations and countless developments that should get all of us worried. If you have been someone who is interested in national security, I mean, we can recount what happened with Caleb Kuda. But if you go in there, there are worse things happening, serious things happening at national security, and it seems that no one.
You mention yourself.
No one. I mean, I'm saying Caleb Kuda because his was pinned down to a particular person. If you recall, Colonel Ajman, who was supposed to be the operations director at the national security, who allegedly gave the orders for Caleb Kuda to be, manhandled. If you recall, in the aftermath of that incident, there was supposed to be a statement from the National Security Ministry directing that the gentleman be
sent back to where he was.
Because
he was on secondment.
Yes,
He's gone back.
to the military.
And that the military was going to investigate.
Yes, and I mean, that on its own, I found it a problem, but you will be shocked that even after the National Security Ministry sent out that statement, they did the opposite. They had kept the gentleman there till last 2 weeks. Shockingly. And with all this period that he was there, he had done worse things than you can even imagine in the, what's her name? Caleb Kuda.
So last 2 weeks, what happened last 2 weeks?
Well, I mean, last 2 weeks, if you've been following some of the publications, they were indulged in some fuel bunkering situation where they connive with people who, I mean, not even connive, they instigate people to bring in fuel to sell illegally without paying any tax to the state. This issue is known to the Jubilee House, is known to the National Security Ministry, and they are quiet. These are business people that they go and instigate. They even give money, they pay money to these people to go and bring oil for them to sell without paying tax to the state. There are incidences where at the port, they go there, ransack the port, take items from the port, take containers from the port, and take things out of it. How can you have a national security with these characters? How on earth can you have national security with these characters? Look, I have had a very horrific narrative of a suspect who is in the national security's group in concerning this secessionist issue. They kept the suspect there and were forcing him to go and falsify information. There are issues of they arresting people, putting them there, and forcing them to sign falsified documents, or they are dealt with. And the people cannot speak because they tell you you will be dealt with if you go out there and speak. And I think that it's about time we all pay some attention to the national security, because these are the people who are to watch us. It is not NDC, MPP matter, because it can be anybody. When we have situations, we are being told that police people, military people are engaged in armed robbery. Who knows where you will be? I don't think, we are all known by everybody. And the fact that you even sit here and talk about the bad deeds they do, makes it even more, scary. We must all ensure that the people who are at our national security are people with conscience, people with some reputation to do the work and serve the country in the mandate they have been employed to do. And I think that it's sometimes laughable when people get power and they think that because they have power, they can deal with the state institutions anyhow because they have power. What if tomorrow you are not in power and either your opponent decide to use the same institution the way you have used it, or the people they have used, because they know how you have used them, turn against you and deal with you? Look, this, particularly the security structures, are not areas that we should go with our politics. How did they come that people in national security will be taken based on their political affiliations? You go to national security, they are telling you there are people who are supposed to be invisible forces in camp. There are people who are supposed to be this person's camp. We cannot have a national security like that. We cannot. It's about time we all take our eyes to the national security there and make sure that, look, I have a great respect for Kandapa. At least, if for nothing at all, coming up with, what's her name? a national security policy was a wonderful thing. And I'm sure it was done with the people in mind. We must all ensure that we help that institution to protect us. But they must start it by themselves, getting people who are qualified, who are credible there, who are not being partisan, who are not being greedy with their work. I think that would help all of us. And if they are able to do that, it will not be difficult for the people, the civilians, to say that, look, we have seen this thing here. Because if you are going to tell a rook in the national security that you have seen something here, you become the victim yourself. And that is what we must all avoid. I have had an incident that I have not confirmed yet, where somebody had made a petition to a certain national security institution. The next day, he was arrested and kept in a police cell for 3 days. I mean, anyway, that's all I have to say.
Apart from the allegations that my good brother has made, I think I totally agree with all the things he has said. Look, we cannot politicize national security. I've said it. Look, this issue of recruiting party foot soldiers into so-called national security, it's terrible. I've had experience of this. Sometimes you see people, I've said it several times, I'll probably go to Mokola to get some, this phone, the one that you can charge the phone for days. It resembles Gota.
Yeah.
Some go and buy them and they parade in our communities like, I'm from national security, I'm working with national security. I have never seen national security a person walking around showing himself that I'm from national security. Yeah. We should avoid politicizing our national security. So, as I said, apart from the allegations that I cannot confirm, I totally agree with my brother. Yeah.
All right, so we have 6 minutes. I'll share it 3-3 on the matter of the outcome of the elections that went on. Dave.
Yeah, great. I'm a believer in democracy. And I mean, the multi-party system, as bad as it may seem, is the best for us. And the foundation of it is what happens in our various political parties, where they create structures and processes that they go through to elect people who should lead them and eventually become government if they are lucky. So it is important when a political party goes to Congress to elect its officers. I always say that the officers they elect become the good officers they elect becomes the good ministers and appointees that we see. But when they elect bad ones, it comes to affect the entire country, even though it is what they were elected for a political party. And we have seen it countless times, how some of these people, the same character they show in their party is what they demonstrate when they get on the national platform. I have monitored the election. I think largely it has been peaceful, regardless of the complaints that came before the elections were held. I have a particular concern about the incidents at, I think, the Bono region, where it was said that 3 of the constituencies were injuncted from holding their elections. So the electoral commission staff had withdrawn from that particular area. Yet,
Delegates.
The electoral commission officers withdrew from holding elections there. But the elections director of the region decided to go on and hold the elections there and declared his own result, aside what the electoral commission declared. I don't know if you got me. There were supposed to be election in the entire region.
Yes.
3 of the constituencies, there were issues about them, so there was an injunction placed on the 3 constituencies not to vote. So the electoral commission did not organize elections there, but the elections director of the party decided to go ahead and hold the election there. And so
No, the people moved to the center because yesterday that was the last decision held. That's last region. In fact, that was the only region, Bono region, held yesterday. That was the only region that conducted. And I was so tired, I didn't follow.
Okay, good. So if you allow me, I have just 3 minutes. Let me finish my point. Okay. So these three constituencies, the elections director, in spite of the court order, went on and held an election there and declared results that was different from what the EC had declared.
But if the EC had respected the injunction, then it means that those 3 areas, the EC could not have declared any results.
and that was my concern. And then I say that, you see, when things like this happen, it's not good. Because the court's order must be. The court. Court order. Court order. Court order. No. It was a respected court order. No. We have seen that in our body.
He speaks better to you than me, or can't you better than me?
Yeah. We've seen that in our national elections before. I think, it's happened already. Elections have been held already. My worry. When many people were complaining about how, money exchange hands and got people elected and all that. I said, look, if all of us, including these MPP people who are complaining, had been complaining about the thieveries, the corruption that had been happening since 2017, we wouldn't be here complaining about elections that were held in a region. Oh. I think that.
For last 3 minutes, For last 3 minutes.
Charlie David.
How do? Last 3 minutes.
Oh, I think, my idea, the elections have been generally peaceful. The problem I had, issue of album, especially TESCON. List. It appears that almost all the regions. In some regions, may say test confirm and vote too. So that's this challenge that some address it ahead of the national executive election by July. So some address it. But all in all, I think it is done. Party bemu polling station elections or my friends and electoral area coordinators election or my constituency elections so my regional elections July or my national elections not presidential and the leadership of organizers of led by the chairman and the general secretary or my idea to or that's far. And I hope to say challenges now. Many of our list TV. I think they should address them because in a party, democracy now more prophecy. You have to do things that will make everybody come on board, inclusive. To hear Nemana say obey a free man, I think it doesn't augur well for unity and peace of the party. It's something that they have to work on in terms of Albany accusations in Myanmar. But largely, election or TBB, I think they should do that. And I hope the other political parties who will be doing theirs should have peace like that. And also, look, democracy, as my brother said, and then the better any alternative be, no matter how worse, how bad it is still better than military. Military, better now. Military, express even though some people are saying they are not free. Look, this freedom, we cannot take it for granted. The political party should do things that will let us have freedom. As for monetization of politics, it is so MPP and NDC. There will be hot. Obeka said when the party is in government, they may have more resources. But opposition, say NDC for Omudiabeba, you will see how money will play a role. It came to the point, to the extent that even on the floor of parliament, these issues were raised by both sides. So something has to be done about monetization of our politics. Look, who will be the person or a capable or better my party Eddie or when they be or the best support to the party a to contribute to the development of Ghana. Now so scarcity on Timi and money is so critical in our politics now. We have to look at, I don't know whether as a country we can have a national policy on it.
I think the CDD started a conversation
last
week.
Exactly.
Political party funding. Yeah, CDD started a conversation last
and
week.
If you look at monetization, recently you will see that mostly political parties are even richer than the state.
The state
itself. Because of what goes on there. And it's also a cocoa season for delegates when it comes to this kind of conferences and congresses for parties, especially in PPN and DC.
Unfortunately, it's not the political parties; it's individuals in the political parties.
Yes, but they will. Of course.
If you see what they declare at TC, it doesn't look like they are rich.
Yes,
they're individuals.
Individuals. That's the point. Individuals who have money now, they control everything. The levers of power. So there's also this issue about I'm sure he didn't go there, but I will go there.
Beatings in Greater Accra.
No.
Violence.
No. There were no violence.
No, you didn't see the video.
No, as for beating slow, there's no election. People will not receive slaps.
You can't justify.
Anyway,
I know.
My time now.
You cannot justify. And you also see people claiming victory, especially the two main contenders. They are both claiming victories in regions. Look, everybody who is smoothness level in the actual primaries, presidential primaries. So now, who say why we in a region, a particular region, or you have won in all the regions, the actual presidential primaries now will be able to smoothness level. But let's allow them to comfort themselves with Mawini. Yeah. Let's allow them. Yeah. We have people who don't even matter in this presidential race. But after the constituency elections, almost all Mawini across the country.
Well, here, Brena, I be, and